plate, sir.
What is happening, all of you sexy warriors out there? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about the one handgun to rule them all. If I had to get rid of every other pistol that I owned and just keep one for any situation, it would be this guy right here. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about this Glock 19X right here. Obviously slightly customized. You guys have probably seen this on the channel, but there have been some upgrades to it, and I want to show you guys some footage to corroborate what I'm going to tell you today, which is you suck no matter how expensive your pistol is, and by you I mean me as well. It doesn't matter. You cannot buy performance. You have to put the work in, and that is where dry fire training and just really a dedication to the skill set comes into play. And a lot of people, including myself, up until this point, up until like the last year really, have tried to buy a better and better handgun to have a better trigger, to have less recoil, or felt recoil anyways, and try to make themselves shoot faster with these cheat codes, so to speak, which there are a few little cheat codes on here we'll talk about in a second. I want to just reiterate the fact that this is a placeholder. Insert your reliable pistol here, the one that you trust, the one that you have a lot of time with, the one that you are familiar with. It could be a Walther, it could be an HK, it could be literally anything besides a P320. I don't want to go down that path, but this is honestly and truly about Glock perfection, guys, and why, if I had to recommend to any new shooter, somebody who doesn't already have hundreds if not thousands of dollars already invested in CZ mags, or insert your camp here, somebody who's brand new to shooting, who wants to get into something for home defense, for concealed carry, but also for duty belt or war belt, for prepared citizen mindset type things, this is probably the one gun I recommend. And there may be a caveat here, but this is going to be my recommendation to anyone who's just starting out. If they want to have one gun, plug and play, one and done, this is it. And honestly, this configuration as well has really grown on me over the last 1,500 rounds that we have through this. So starting at the beginning, guys, we do have to take a moment to thank the biggest sponsor of the channel, which is Brownells. If you do want to support the channel, please head over to rangedabro.com, check out our discounts page. Our bro code RDB10 saves you know what over at you know where. All of that can be found over on the discounts page. We also have a loadouts page that goes over a ton of our rifle builds and goes over all the parts that are in those with links as well. Also, lastly, subscribe to our email list over there. And if you guys like this video, if you even enjoy it a little bit, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And let me know down in the comments, what is your one go-to pistol? If you had to choose one and sell everything else in a wartime, for competition, for everyday carry, it has to be one. Which one would you guys choose? Let me know down in the comments below. So before we discuss the reasons for this gun being my choice, let's discuss why I believe it's important to just have one gun to do everything with. I think it's a bit silly when guys have a competition gun and then they have a nightstand gun and they have an everyday carry gun. And I understand the reason why, right? Like, these are tools, you want the tool that's best for each job. However, in my opinion, most of us have very limited time and very limited time to get to the range. Even myself running a YouTube channel, I only get to the range once or twice a week. So even with that type of training regimen, and a lot of people don't make the time or find time for dry fire, which is super important, I think it's important to maximize the amount of reps that you have with the gun that you're deciding to take out into the real world every single day and defend your life with if that situation ever arises. God forbid it never does. But again, I think it's super important to get every rep that is possible with said gun that you're going to use to defend your life. And so if you're going to go shoot a competition, like, what is the ultimate goal of shooting competitions, right? It's to put bullets as fast as you can in the places that you want them. Now, that is for a gunfight. It's the same situation. So if you're going to take the gun that you're shooting in a competition and you get very good with it at putting bullets where you want them as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible, why wouldn't you want that same capability in the real world when you have all these extra variables that are out of your control? You have adrenaline dump, you have a lot of things that are just going to be happening to you. So if you're excellent in competition, you're going to be okay in a real life gunfight, right? That's kind of the idea. That's how I train, is to be as good as I can on the range, so that if I ever am in a real life gunfight in the streets, in these streets, as they say, that I have as much skill and experience and reps as possible, bringing this gun up to my eye and having the dot appear without having to finagle it and wiggle it around. And so every single rep on dry fire as well as live fire, every single rep under pressure during competitions, all of those matter. This needs to be an extension of myself. Like, when I close my eyes, I can put my index finger on my nose. Same thing with this. When I close my eyes, I can put this up to my... just kidding, guys. All jokes aside though, this thing needs to be second nature to you, because when you're in that gunfight situation, you're probably not gonna be standing stagnant. You're probably not gonna be standing upright. You're probably gonna be ducking, crouching, running around. Bullets are gonna be whizzing potentially. There's gonna be innocent people all around you. So again, that's why I think it's so important to get every single rep that you can with the gun you carry. Gonna be protecting your life and the life of the loved ones around you with. That's kind of the idea behind it, and that's why I've kind of moved to this philosophy of, okay, I'm gonna pick one gun that I trust, and that's what we're gonna talk about with this setup here. So first first and foremost, if I'm gonna be using this to defend my life with, whether it be a nightstand gun, a war belt gun, you know, Second Amendment purpose type situation, the number one thing is reliability. And I have now, in this current configuration, 1,500 rounds through this pistol with absolutely zero malfunctions. Not so much as a hiccup, not so much as the slide even getting stuck or being sluggish. This thing is running absolutely flawless. And just so you guys know, every single part in here is OEM. So we have an OEM guide rod, OEM trigger components, all the internals, all the slide components, everything is 100% OEM besides iron sights, the barrel and the comp, and that's it. I mean, everything else is 100% stock what came with the gun. I didn't need to change a guide rod. I didn't need to like tune it. Every single piece of factory FMJ and as well as hollow points that I put through this ran reliably. So again, if I'm using this to defend my life with for everyday carry, for a nightstand gun, the reliability is the most important variable for me. And not only have I had historically amazing reliability with Glocks and this Glock in particular, but even with this ramjet combo after 1,500 rounds, zero issues with the optic, with again, the barrel and the afterburner ramjet combo, zero issues. So I see no reason to doubt its reliability. My confidence in it is at 100%. And so it's proven to me that it's going to be reliable when I need it to be. So we've talked about reliability. Now let's move on to shootability, for lack of a better term, and how does it actually feel when you're behind the gun, when you're running it quickly. And this thing I think is the perfect balance. I have a very big hand, so I really like a full-size grip. For reference, here's a Glock 19 in my grip, and my pinky is like hanging halfway off of the Glock 19 when I'm holding it. So I really prefer to have the full-size grip, and especially with that magwell, it kind of gives me the perfect tension point or leverage point here at the bottom when I squeeze with these two fingers specifically right here to really manage my recoil and manage my grip well. Whereas on this one, my finger wants to slip off the bottom when I really start to tension it down. It really wants to come off. Now, is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. But that's why I prefer the 19X or the 45, which is the same exact footprint, which is 19 length slide, 17 length grip. So full size grip, compact slide. Now you add in the stipple job, which is very, very aggressive. Shout out to Sportsman's Finest. My buddy Grant over there did this. This was one of his first stipple jobs. So he's gotten even a lot better since this. This is probably his worst stipple job he's ever done, but it still, I think, looks very nice. And it's extremely aggressive, which I wanted it to be because my hands get pretty sweaty, especially out here in the Texas heat. And I knew I was gonna be shooting this in competitions. The only thing is it gets a little aggressive when carrying on the belly. On this side, I wish this would be a little bit less aggressive, but also when I get my support hand up against here, all these points of contact that I have, this thing just, it's not going anywhere. Now you add in things like the ramjet, afterburner ramjet combo. Now what this does is when the bullet exits the barrel, it directs the hot gases up, which in turn keeps the gun from flipping back quite as much. Now, it still obviously has recoil. It just reduces the felt recoil slightly to the shooter, and it allows you to get back on target quicker. It allows your dot to re-enter that window and get back on target quicker so you can have faster follow-up shots. So in this specific configuration, again, this is not gonna break the bank. This is not Staccato XC money. This 2011 prices. I outshoot a lot of guys who are shooting much more expensive guns than me with this pistol because it's all about, again, grip and vision in your training. It has nothing to do with the price tag or the trigger pull weight. So again, for everyday carry, I keep this an OEM trigger because I want it to be ultra reliable and I never want to have to worry about it P320ing me right in the P3. And with this afterburner ramjet combo, with the stipple job and with the full size grip and the dot, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. And this can be had for relatively cheap, right? So this obviously has a milled slide. If you wanted to get this out of the box to this point, you can go with the Glock 47 or the Glock 45 COA and or the MOS and then put whatever dot you want on there. The COA is from Aimpoint. It's directly from them. I have no experience with it yet, but Aimpoint is a very well respected company, so I'm sure it's great. However, this thing is directly mounted for the RMR footprint by Maple Leaf Firearms. I've had zero issues with this optic ever being loose or walking loose or anything like that. It's been absolutely rock solid. It's held zero 100% of the time. But again, this can be had for relatively affordable compared to what the prices are going for other guns that shoot maybe just marginally better, just noticeably better, like a Staccato 2011, for instance, like a HD. But this is going to get you there for way cheaper, allow you to spend a lot more money on ammunition and training, and then just get a lot more reps at the range, because that is really what it comes down to, guys. So I want to give a huge shout out real quick to my buddy Rob Epifania. He has the Accelerator course, which is pretty much an online course for you guys if you're interested in taking it. It helps you get better at shooting, no matter where you are in your shooting journey. I've been taking his course for a few months now, and it has absolutely changed the game for me. So using this pistol after implementing a lot of Rob's dry fire practice, really it was the dry fire that was the big thing for me. I've been able to start steadily going from like 15th to 10th place in competitions, going up to 5th place and above, really. So in my latest shooting competition with this handgun right here, I was actually able to come first place on 3 different stages. I bombed the first stage. I accidentally shot the stop plate at the beginning of the stage. stage, which it actually ends the stage right there. So I had 18 mics and 9 procedural penalties because of that. That was a critical error. There's nobody's fault but mine. It was staggered. The stop plate was right behind the red plate. I shot the stop plate on accident because I missed the red plate and it ended my stage. Now, if it wasn't for coming in dead last on that stage, I would have 100% been first place in that competition, thanks to all of Rob's teachings and work that he's put out there. If you guys want to sign up for the accelerator program, you can check out our discounts page over at rangedaybro.com. And there's a link down there to sign up for the accelerator course, and it does support the channel when you guys do so. I highly recommend it because no matter how much money you spend on a handgun or don't spend, you're not going to get better unless you put the time in, and Rob's course gives you the tools you need and the structure that I needed in order to get better as a shooter, and it really helped me transform my entire pistol game. Now, a couple other ancillary reasons that I recommend this over something like a Staccato or 2011 is magazine prices are much, much cheaper. Aftermarket support is through the roof, but even though, again, I don't really recommend changing anything besides what I've already done on here, milled my slide, added a ramjet combo, put a dot on it, put a light on it, and that's really it. Magwell, I don't want to mess with the internals at all, but it's still beneficial to know that if you were one of those guys who wanted to change something else out, even though I don't recommend it because I don't think it's needed, you could do that. The support is there, unlike with these other 2011 manufacturers. They're just highly customized. A lot of them are hand fit, and a lot of them are 4 or 5 times the price of this gun the way it sits today. I'm gonna roll in some footage, as you guys have probably already seen throughout the video, of me shooting in multiple matches. I want to just talk to you guys about my experiences through those matches and what it was like shooting this handgun here, because this is not a typical match type handgun setup, right? Especially if not for a pistol match. This is not typically something you would imagine, or the optic setup that you would have on a gun that is made for competition. So my first match whenever using this handgun was in the Centex multi-gun match. I was competing in the 2-gun division, and I was using my LMT Spec War 12.5 inch 5.56 gas gun, as well as this guy right here, the Glock 19X with the Radian ramjet combo. And what I noticed when switching from the PMM comp here over to the Radian comp was immediately I seemed to get more confident in every single shot that I took with this gun. And I think a lot of that is just training and or maybe placebo, but I can't help but think that this barrel is just more accurate than the Safari precision barrel that I have in this guy. Now, I've never actually grouped the Radian barrel for everyone, just to be very clear, but in that competition, I was taking a lot of shots at long ranges at small targets. So on one stage specifically, a stage win for me, it was the pistol only stage. I ran through and there was targets anywhere from 10 yards all the way to 25 to 30 yards that were 5 inches wide by 5 inches tall, and I had to shoot them with a handgun. So as you can see, when I'm running through that stage, a lot of the time in the footage, you can't even see the target until I hit it and it flies down because they are so small. And using this Holosun with this ramjet combo on here, I have it dialed in and zeroed. Again, factory Glock trigger, working on my sights, working on not flinching on the trigger pull. I got those hits most of the time on the first round, if not on the second round. And it allowed me to go through and ace that stage and become first place in my division. And the same thing at the end of that stage with the spinner plate. It allowed me to get quick follow-up shots and get multiple double taps on those small spinner plates, because those spinners need to gain a lot of momentum before they go over. And it's a 30-second penalty for anyone who wasn't able to actually get the spinner to go over. Now, because I missed so little running up on that stage, I had enough ammo left in my backup magazines to spin both of them, but I also didn't miss that much while shooting at the spinners because this ramjet kept this thing shooting absolutely buttery smooth and flat. I kept my vision and my grip strong. Towards the end, the grip and the vision did get a little bit lazy, and you could see that as I start to miss a little bit more my double taps. But again, this gun and this configuration absolutely crushed it on that stage, as well as a few other stages, which I'll roll in here in that 2-gun match. I mentioned a little bit earlier the Atomic Legion Riddle of Steel match that I would have won. I know, big shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I bombed the first stage. I came dead last because I shot the stop plate far before I intended to, and ended my match right there, ended that stage right there on the spot, leaving me with 18 mics and 9 procedural penalties, leaving me dead last. Now, that was one stage. Another stage I came in 10th place on because I had a very similar situation with the stop plate. I was a little scarred from hitting that on accident the first time, so I was being very careful to not hit that. I also had reloaded and inserted a half-loaded mag, or even a quarter-loaded mag. For whatever reason, I forgot to reload it. That also slowed me down a little bit, and I came in 10th on that stage. And the other 3 stages of the match, I came in first place with this handgun because everything went right. I didn't make those mistakes. So again, it's not the gun, it is the shooter, but this gun is 100% capable of running a lot faster than I even run it. And in most cases, I was shooting a Glock 19X with a ramjet versus a lot of guys with 2011s. We had Fowlers, we had all kinds of like Gucci race guns out there, because in the Riddle of Steel, there's no rules telling you what you can and can't have as far as ports and comps and all those things. So a lot of guys were just running regular guns as well, like CZ, Shadow 2s and whatnot, but a lot of them were running like highly customized race guns, and I also beat them on most stages. Again, this is not like beating my chest. I have a long way to go before I become any kind of high level shooter. I'm very mediocre as far as the high level shooters go, but I am very proud of myself. And I gotta say, I'm just falling more and more in love with this handgun every single day that goes by. I can't wait to shoot it in more competitions. And I just hate when I see people buying into the hype of the new cool gun. Now, if you're just buying guns because you're like a watch guy, but you're a gun guy instead and you like collecting stuff, cool. But why don't you collect the skills as well and buy that new cool handgun if you want, go shoot it and have fun with it at the range. But when it comes time to seriously train, grab old reliable, get out there in the garage, do the dry fire. I'm talking to myself here because it's real easy to skimp and be lazy with it. But at the end of the day, this is the only handgun you need. And if you have something comparable to this that's reliable that you trust, that's the only handgun you need. You don't need anything new. Buy some ammo, find the time to dry fire, find the time to go to the range and train with purpose, and you will become a much, much better shooter. And that's actually what's cool, right? This is all you need. Get out there and train. I love you guys. That's pretty much going to be it for the video. I really appreciate y'all staying to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, head over to rangedaybro.com, check out our discounts page, our loadouts page, sign up for our email list over there. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments, what is your go-to handgun? Which one are you picking over all the rest? I want to know exactly what you guys are carrying and why. And as always, guys, drink a lot of water. Christ is king. Stay safe. Stay dangerous. Range Day Bro out.